are we being taken along now as the government is asking questions, which is highly unusual, or are we being prepared and they're slowly leaking things out because there's a bigger story to tell soon?
I think a very good and a very fair question indeed. I've often said this before. A lot of times, governments don't like to admit there's a problem unless they have a solution. Let's look at the U-2 spy program back in the 60s. We were flying these aircraft in violation of a treaty we had with the then Soviet Union. And it wasn't until the Soviet Union was successfully able to shoot one down did they admit to their people that the US had this reconnaissance capability. Okay, so it's not unusual for governments to obfuscate and sometimes sequester the truth until it
Sure.
has a solution.
Yeah.
In this
Correct.
particular case, I think we're at a point where the longer now that the technology is available to pretty much anybody who has a portable device in their hand, and the evidence is becoming increasingly clear that these things are real, they are in our skies. Forget about what they are at this point. Let's just come to the fact that they're real. It now
Right.
actually works against the government to keep this type of information. It becomes a liability to keep a lid on it because it has a shelf life. Maybe in the beginning it's okay to keep this information sequestered until you have a solution. But now that enough people, that critical mass has been reached, it actually now serves against the government's interest to keep this information quiet because it's
Okay.
obvious. It's there. We're seeing it.
Okay. So are we seeing, when we see these big balls over, Phoenix, and these just giant, they're just are hanging out, are those, is that a weather balloon or something? Or are those really things that we just don't know what they are?
So in some cases, yes, it is a weather balloon. It's something that can be explained. It's an atmospheric anomaly. It's an aircraft. It could be a drone, a quadcopter. There's a whole litany, if you will, of things it could be. And that's why it was important in the Pentagon's program that we came up with a characterization, if you will, to root out those possibilities. So in essence, the five observables that have now become quite well known were developed to help the department, help the intelligence community kind of field these type of incidents and make a very quick determination. Is there some sort of rational explanation? Is it a test aircraft? Is it a foreign adversarial reconnaissance aircraft? Or even is it a planet? Or is it really something that is outside our current understanding of aerodynamics, technology, etc.?
So we're seeing a lot of these things. How do we know which ones should be laughed at and which ones, what's hogwash and what's real? How do we know? I mean, we're seeing a lot of these things, and people, will have their cameras, and everybody has their phone, and they're all saying, "Look at this." How do we know what's real and what's not?
So this is precisely why ATIP was created in the first place by a bipartisan effort in the Senate back in 2007, 2008. That program has now been known as ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And that's exactly what it was chartered to do, Mr. Beck. It was to look at these things and better determine, are these things really just some sort of conventional aircraft that's being misidentified, or is this some type of new technology that we, quite frankly, we really don't have a handle on? And by the way, if it is that second category of information, which it appears there are many of these incidents that are not conventional aircraft, potentially non-foreign adversarial technology being used against us, then we have to ask ourselves some really hard questions. All right, what the heck is it? If it's not our technology and it's not the Russian or the Chinese, I highly doubt there's other countries that are going to have that type of technological capability to not only leapfrog us in our technology, but keep this secret for so long. If this did turn out to be some sort of foreign adversarial technology, this would be one of the greatest intelligence failures in U.S. history.